Welcome to the VET S.O.S. You catch. I don't know why you catch me off guard dancing. It's like I can see you doing it, and then I start laughing right as we start. Welcome to the VET S.O.S. podcast. We're off to a great start today. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. lifeline. VET S.O.S. is brought to you by the Who You Know Network, and we're excited now to be part of the Heroes Media Group family, a great organization with just some amazing podcasts and people involved in that. And we got one of those guys here today in Gene Campbell, who we're sitting down with. He's the founder of the True Patriot Outfitters and host of the Double S podcast. I just met Gene a couple weeks ago, and I absolutely love talking with him. This is going to be a good one, so buckle up. Today, flying high with my tail gunner, Keith. How you doing today, Keith?
Keeping an eye on the six and snacks. If turbulence hits, just remember I'm in charge of complaints, coffee refills, and witty commentary. Let's go.
There you go. I think somebody's been preparing.
I prepared for that one. I saw what you had coming at me. I was like, oh, God, I don't know how to respond to this. I had to Google something.
Nice. All right, let's jump right into it. We got Gene Campbell. He's the founder of the True Patriot Outfitters, husband to Julie, and between them, they have 4 adult children. Family is a pillar in Gene's life, and running a close second would be his passion and love of the outdoors. While his professional career saw him spend over 20 years in the IT industry, Gene never lost connection to the outdoors and fishing. Over his professional career, he also was a coach of youth athletics, ranging from 4th grade to varsity athletes, football, hockey, and track and field. Let's finish the sentence. Were the sports he taught in. During the COVID era, it brought in an opportunity for Gene to explore further the option to fish full-time and compete across the Midwest of America. An event he would volunteer at, however, would change his course for the twilight of his professional career, having the opportunity to spend a week with 6 Purple Heart recipient combat vets, changed his life and helped bring about purpose and motivation that he had been searching for and missing since retiring from coaching. I can't wait to get into this story. How you doing today, Gene?
Good, brother. Thank you guys so much for having me on here, man. This is awesome.
We're just glad we could get you off the water for a minute to come on and talk with us.
Right? Don't have out here in Colorado, I don't have much time left on the water. They shut our access down out here. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah.
Really?
Unless you want to drive 2.5 hours, you can go down to a state park about 2.5, 3 hours away. But yeah. So yeah.
Ugh. What do you fish for?
Anything that's willing to bite these days. Competitively, I used to chase bass, but now these days,
nice.
Yeah, now these days I'm opening it to, you know what, as long as I'm outdoors and as long as I'm taking people out there and we're fishing, hey man, let's go after, whatever fish they want to play with. I enjoy the hunt.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Yep. I want my name to be known among the fish. I want them to be scared when I'm out on the water.
I want there to be a Gene Week, in the fish community. They got, their TV is Gene Week. Same way we look at the sharks.
I like it. All right, man. So tell us how you decided with this career in IT, coaching youth, you decide, you know what? I need to work with veterans. Mm-hmm. I need to support them. How did that whole thing come about?
So it happened literally like, most things in my life, just when I was not looking for it, it came kind of blindsided me out of nowhere here. But I'm a firm believer in the fact that while I may not believe in the same religious structure of organized religion as other people, I am also 100% sure there are things going on in this universe beyond my explanation. And so when it talks to you, man, and when things are going on, pay attention. I was starting the fishing competitively deal, going to try to make a run at that. I have an amazing wife who is supporting that. See if we could make a career out of it. And here's a spoiler alert. You can't. But at any rate, the best way to become a millionaire competitively fishing is start off as a billionaire. That's the fastest path to it. Yeah.
So if I win the lotto tonight,
yeah.
I can become a professional fisherman.
You're on your way. Exactly. No. So, after getting out of coaching, I had a hole in the life there, and that was the serving, trying to help do something that actually made a damn difference. As I got older and older, coaching really filled that void for me. Working with kids, using the different sports as a medium to help them become constructive, good young men in today's society, man. Using football, using track, using hockey, those were great ways. To be honest with you, the track thing was just so I could stay in contact with my football players in the spring. You know what I mean? It's like I coached throws, which if you knew me as a kid growing up, man, I don't think I ever went above about 175 pounds. I never threw a damn thing one competitively in my life, you know, but here they needed a throws coach. And I'm like, well, I've been a coach for a lot of years. I bet you I can figure out how to throw a ball, you know, from your chin. Yeah. So,
How hard can it be?
right. Turns out it's pretty damn technical. You know, those big boys, they figure out some stuff, but we had a school full of steak and cake eaters, so there wasn't a whole lot of expectations in what I was doing. So I'm like,
Eaters. I love that.
yeah, it's like, you know what? We got a low bar here. I think I can fill in all right.
Someone has to be the quarterback. We got a group full of linemen. What are we doing here?
Exactly.
Right.
So yes, I started off doing that stuff. What I started doing in the competitive side is I was volunteering for different organizations, trying to help them with PR stuff, help them with marketing, because nonprofits have a challenge when it comes to that. They got to be careful how much they say about a supporter, because it can slip out of the donation realm and into the marketing realm then. Well, there's no rules against saying somebody on a third party can't go out there and promote the hell out of their supporters for them. So I started kind of doing that. Warrior Bonfire Program, man, they hit me up and they said, hey, we've got this deal going on in Vienna, Missouri, this date. We'd like you to bring your bass boat, bring your gear, and come spend the week with these 6 Purple Heart recipients and share your knowledge of bass fishing, because we got a private lake, a private lodge donated by a civilian owner. You'd be the second civvy there, and we'd love for you just to come in and just share what you love to do. And I'm looking at the calendar. I'm like, man, that's the final event of the year for me. It was in October, and I'm like, that's supposed to be at Lake of the Ozarks that weekend. And I sat there on the phone with this guy, and within about 2-3 minutes, I'm like, you know what? Yes, dude, I'm in. I'll cancel that last event, and I will come, instead of going to Lake of the Ozarks, I'll just go a little bit further over to Vienna. So I did that. I spent that week there, to speed this story up a little bit. I spent that week there, and I'll tell you what, man, threw everything on its head. The ending night, you know, we had an amazing week just sharing space with these guys, and I was taught a lot. I come walking up to a conversation where the group of them were at a table, and the guy running it, former Navy SEAL, he kind of turned to me and looked at me and just kind of pointed. I got the point. Oh, you guys are talking. I'll step away. You know, so I learned so much about, hey, when they're having their conversations there, I'm not in that circle. You know what I mean? And it didn't offend me. It didn't, you know, I just, no, cool, man. I got it. Yeah, I'll be over here by the campfire. So I stepped away from that, but just spending that week there and hearing these stories and watching raw emotion pour out of these individuals who I admired, most of them younger than me, a couple of them older. And I just found myself in such a realm of feeling grateful that they would allow me to hang out with them, man, and hear their stories. And they'd trust me enough that they'd share some pretty rough stuff that they were clearly worried about judgment. And I'm sitting there going, so much hit me in that trip, man, of, hey, no matter how much my heart wants to understand, I realize I can't. And that's okay. I don't need to fully understand, but what I can absolutely do is appreciate it. I can respect it, and I can make sure that I'm doing my part to go, dude, you share what you want to share. You get no judgment out of me. I'm grateful for you. I love you. Don't even know you, but I know enough about you already. And all that came clear, man. It taught me through this. The night that I'm leaving, they, or the day before we leave, they're doing their bonfire ceremony, Warrior Bonfire Program. Lieutenant Colonel Mike Foss retired. Love those guys over there. They have an amazing program, really, really cool, specifically for Purple Heart recipients. They do the bonfire ceremony at the end, and they're retiring the flag, the different stripes and such, and they're saying their piece. Dave and I, the 2 civvies, sitting off to the side over here, and we're just watching this go down, and I'm just like, dang, man, this is amazing. Old Cajun boy. I'm not even going to try to do his accent, all right? I remember his first name, and I've got his picture still. Mike was his name. Old Mike was a Bradley commander. And if memory serves properly, that Bradley got hit by like 2 IEDs consecutively, back to back, just boom, boom. And he's sitting there and he's talking in that deep Cajun accent. He looks at Dave and I and he says, finally, you two boys may not be vets, but I'll tell you what, you're citizens worth fighting for. And I'm damn glad to call you two boys true patriots. And I look over at Dave, the other guy, I'm like, I'm not crying. You're crying. Whatever, dude. You know? And
Smoke in
guys,
my eyes.
I'll tell you what, up to that point, Dad has always been the best title I've ever been given, right? And Coach was 2. That night, Coach went 3. True Patriot hit second for me. It hit me so much right in the core that the next day driving home, I talked my wife's ear off about 2.5, 3 hours on the drive home, 13 hours to get home. And I'm sitting here just, honey, this is it. I found it. I found what we need to be doing. And it's not promoting fishing gear and chasing that mess. No, we're going to use the stage that fishing gives us. And we're going to start bringing awareness, and then we're going to start putting boots on the ground and start getting some action going in this area. If we can share our passion and it can heal, it can provide a space, an avenue, an arena, then that is exactly what we need to be doing. I got home, and within a few hours, True Patriot Outfitters was DBA'd and signed with the state. I made sure I locked it up before anybody else could get there. And yeah, man, that was it. We started on this little run. As time went on, we moved out of the boat world into the kayak game, realized there's some uniqueness to that. There's an intimacy that kayak fishing provides that a boat can't. Plus, I can do 3 to 4 people, sometimes more with the kayak game, where on a boat, I was maxed at 2. I pull away from a gas station still smiling with my kayak, as opposed to loading a 55-gallon tank of gas in my bass boat going, dear God, what have I done? So that's it, man. That's how the True Patriot Outfitters came to be. Motivated a lot by the Romans Warrior Foundation, Brian Romans and that entire family over there. Love those guys to death. Brian is now, to my mind, he's family more than a friend. He's just been a mentor to help us navigate, get going in the nonprofit game, find the motivators, keep charging. And as he says, if we got to do it one at a time, then by God, that's what we'll do, one at a time. But as long as there's air in our lungs, blood in our body, we're going to keep on moving. We're going to keep this thing firing up. So
that's awesome. And I think, Keith, every one of us as veterans can relate to that story where we've met somebody that, you're just like, I love that, someone worth fighting for, because you can watch the news and see a lot of people that aren't worth fighting for, in my opinion.
Good God.
But so tell us about True Patriot Outfitters. What are you doing? How's it work? Because I know from experience that fishing and golfing are equally frustrating.
Yeah.
And essentially, anytime I do either of them, I'm going out there to quit. And I happen to hit a good shot, or I catch a fish, or have a great fight with a fish, and next thing you know, I'm hooked for the next time. So tell us about this organization. What are you doing with it? How's it work? Break it down for us.
So the foundation of it is the concept of it is in recreational therapy. Okay, this is a now scientific, medically backed, but more important than lab coats is ask anybody who has had an opportunity to partake in some of this stuff. What it is structured outdoor recreation. By structured, the genius is when you can't feel that it's structured. As long as there's key elements in the events, there is a therapeutic side to this stuff that I never have to say the T word. I don't get involved in the T word because, look, I do have a lot of college degrees. I'll openly admit that. And I have the student loans to back it that I'm still paying on. And not one of them is in the areas of mental health well-being or journalism or any of this stuff on the podcast and the stuff I'm doing out there. I'm making it, up as I go. But what the key has been is always surrounding myself with smarter than me people, which is, again, an easy bar to achieve, but just finding subject matter experts out there, right? That people that know their stuff. As I tell people, I tie knots for a living. Okay, that's pretty much what I moved myself. My master's degree was not in knot tying, but that's what I'm using it for. So, the whole point that we do is in that basis of recreational therapy. So what it is we get outdoors, we let Mother Nature do her work, and we focus this thing around allowing an unfiltered, no judgment, hey, I love dark humor, dude. I mean, that is one of the best coping mechanisms I have found, especially among the combat vet world, is you got to find ways to, to work that thing through. And I love it, man. So as long as they're cool with me coming right back with it, we usually surprise each other when we're out there. And I love that. Because that's the whole piece, bonding, camaraderie, outdoors. So what we've really drilled down into now, what we tell people on the front side of this whole thing is that what we provide is a general mental health well-being organization. That's what we do. And we use the outdoors to make it happen. Kayak fishing is the one area that kind of makes us unique, right? Because there's only a couple organizations that focus in that. Heroes on the Water is one of the major players in that. No one's probably done more in the research of the positive impacts of recreational therapy than Heroes on the Water. I'm happy to say I'm a therapeutic coordinator for that organization through the Denver VA program right here in Colorado.
Awesome.
And they're an amazing organization. They collaborate with us. They let us use extra equipment if the TPO, my little group, needs an extra kayak or two. Their statement is, hey man, you use what you got. You got our trailer there. Use what you need. Agreement is you break it, you bought it, and replace it for us. I'm like, I love you guys, and 100. We're on that. That's perfect. It's just an example of the fact that it's one mission, right? We're not in competition with each other. It's one mission that we're trying to do. I stay out of their area because I know I'm the little guy, and they have been helping us where we need the help with resources from time to time. But that whole world there, the kayak fishing piece, it offers some unique things that really fall perfectly into the line of recreational therapy. You have to spend 50% of your time focusing on your craft, right? Because the wind, it changes directions, so much, and it's blowing your kayak around. You hook into a 2-pound bass, it'll pull you. It literally will pull you on the water, in a kayak, even the big ones nowadays. We actually take it one step further. We gear head out, dude. All my kayaks are motorized now that I get the guys on. We all got electric motors. Eventually, we'll all have very small graphs. I have a ridiculous amount of technology on mine, of course, because I used to compete out of it. Yeah, I've got more money in the technology than what the kayak cost. That's, you're doing it right.
That might be why you started out as a millionaire and you're now broke.
Hey, when you compete against these damn hooks that are out there, man, you can't let gear, be the thing that beats you. That's the thing that'll kill. It's like, this guy's not going to out gear me out here. I'm going to make him have to beat me fair and square. But yeah, no, the piece that we use with that is just focusing in those areas. The other two areas that we add in, of course, are camping and hiking, because one major piece in good mental health is activity. Our bodies, as being around coaching for so long, nutrition and just general fitness was always a major part of the schooling. As a paid coach and a professional coach at the high school level, we're forced to, take a series of courses and continuing education and such that we had to go through. And so nutrition, fitness, all those things were always a part of what we did. And it's because it promotes good, solid mental health, man. Our bodies need to be in motion. And in today's world, this 45-degree syndrome that we have here, that we get caught in, it locks us at this desk. It locks us into doom scrolling nonstop. And we forget the fact that your body, not only are the majority of the food is garbage, we're starting to get a handle on that. People are starting to become aware of that. But now we also have to look at the habits we have. Your whole immune system is built around activity. There are no moving parts in the lymphatic system, the area that brings lymph fluid to your lymph nodes. It moves because of muscle contraction. That's how it moves fluid through your body to help you build up your T cells, keep your immunity system going. So if you're not walking and not moving, dude, no wonder you're getting sneezes and coughs and feeling like crap, and internal organs are turning into liquid crap on you. And, it starts to make sense. So activity, we add that in there somewhere. But we got some really cool ideas for the future that we're going with. We're talking with Adam, talking with a few big supporters, but that's really what the TPO is about. It's just general mental health, well-being, improved quality of life, camaraderie and bonding. As I tell people, you'll laugh with me or at me. All right. When we go out, one of the two. And it's our tagline of "We are fishing with a mission." That's the whole point.
I'm sure there's a little bit of both. So Keith, he talks about movement, but then he put a motor on the kayak. So you took the movement out.
Exactly that. I was like,
you got to carry the kayak down to the water. Those motors are heavy, y'all.
So now that Shawn hit that one for me, there's only two other things I want to say. Shawn, first of all, you said earlier, I've been waiting to say, because you're like, fishing is frustrating. You're doing the wrong kind of fishing. I'm a cat fisherman by trade. I drop my line in the water. I sit back in my chair and I chill.
You need to go noodle.
It hits it. If it don't, it don't. You know. So yeah, that's my type of fishing. But Gene, I gotta ask. I've been envisioning it this whole podcast. But how many? First of all, so I guess I got two more questions. First of all, how many? We tend to be big boys. So how many like veterans have barely fit into one of these kayaks? And second, I know at least once, if not numerous times, somebody's been pulled out of their kayak by a fish.
All right, so
and rolled over.
And this is on my kid's name, all right, on my Scout's honor here that's coming at you. First and foremost, I am sponsored by Team New Canoe. I'm part of the national fishing team. Team New Canoe is an American-made kayak, veteran-owned organization built in rotomolded down in North Carolina. New Canoe, we have one of we used to be the highest weight-rated kayak out there. It's a 12.5-foot long, 41-inch wide. It's called the Unlimited. 650-pound capacity on this boat. It's what I fish out of. If you look, the orange and the blue one you see on any of my social media pictures, that's the Unlimited. These things are ridiculously stable, and they can hold. And last year at this time, he's measuring how wide he is.
Okay, I'd fit.
Look, man, if you were on the double S and I saw you looking down and I heard a tape measure go, that's a total different conversation.
I just happen to have a tape measure here. I got
sorry, folks. We got a technical difficulty on Shawn's camera right now. Seems to be fading out here. No, so we've never reached, like last year at this time, I was 256 pounds. And I got in my kayak, no worries. 6'1", 256, and that thing tugged me around all over the place. Now I have lost about 40 pounds in a year by changing up food. And I literally picked up just over a 1/4 mile per hour in speed. It's like I took a battery out of the kayak when I shed that 40 pounds. So never had a problem with somebody of size getting in and out. Now, if you got a big dude, like I have a real good friend who fishes professionally on the scene out there. He's like 6'7", about 325. He'd probably
bigger than that.
You're bigger than that?
Yeah.
Good Lord. So Shawn might be a challenge, which I need to get a kayak down there, and we're going to find out if he can stay in an Unlimited. We're going to get some PR out of this for New Canoe. Look at this mountain. We can get him out there. So yeah, that's we've never run into that yet. I'll tell you the honest to God truth. The biggest challenge that we get with this is, especially from the older group, like the Vietnam vets and such. They hear kayak and they're like, "Oh hell no." And I'm like, guys, these are sit on top. You don't get down in it. Look at me. I'm not getting in one of those stupid whitewater kayaks. Okay. That's not it. This is a sit on top. You're literally like sitting in an office chair when you're on this kayak. It's ridiculously comfy. If you got bad knees, that could be a challenge. We'll get you out of it. But as long as you can float, dude, I mean, there's no safety issues, right? You're going to have a PFD on, The second thing is no one has come out of the boat from a fish. In all of the years that we've been doing this, I've had one guy, and I'm going to call him out. He is a American Legion commander down in Joplin, Missouri area. I'm not going to say his name, but this guy, and I warned him, I was like, you won't flip it, but you could fall out of it. Okay, that's a possibility, but our kayaks are so stable, they're not going to roll. Homie dropped some tackle in the water. And he literally goes, and he reaches for it. I'm like, no. Sploosh. And he goes. And he stands up because we were in 2 foot of water. And I'm like, come on, dog. You just ruined my clean record. I always tell people, we haven't had anybody come out of the kayaks yet. Leave it to Mark.
Concussion
there
fishing.
He goes. Whee! We spent the next 10 minutes fishing all his gear out from the bottom of that stupid little pond. He got all his stuff back in. Later in the day, he's hung up on something and he starts reaching, and I'm looking behind me because I'm towing him, around the lake. He literally looks at me with this nervous smile on his face as he's reaching forward. And I'm like, Jesus, stop. You're going to go in again, dude. Don't. He kind of pulls back. He goes, I don't know what that was. So I'm like, something not right with you, dog. Something not right with you. Yeah. But other than that, no. Safety is a big deal. I'm a former first responder with dive rescue in Larimer County. Safety is a major, major deal to me. I've seen what happens when people are stupid. Unfortunately, pulled enough recoveries, out of the water from lakes, rivers. And so, yeah, I'm kind of hyper-focused on the safety aspect. We make sure that this is safe no matter what. If the weather looks sketchy to me, we're not going. We'll reschedule. That's just the way it is. We'll go do something else. We'll go, I don't know. We'll go find a place for a breakfast or whatever, go find a museum or, go walk. We'll do something else, but we won't put people in tricky situations, that we have out there in PFDs, man. Wear your PFD if you're on the water, especially in Colorado. We have cold water out here. So even in the summer, the most it gets up is probably 73, 74 degrees. That's the hottest our water ever gets.
Wow.
That's like springtime in Missouri, right? So.
Shawn, I don't know if we're going to even get, well, Angie, I don't know if we're even going to get to the double S pot. We might have to bring you back on, Gene, because
yeah, no worries.
We're almost at time. But I want to also just talk about, so like qualifications to like are you nationwide? Do people have to go to certain where are you operating out of? Like what's the logistical aspect of all this that you want people to know?
Before you answer that, Gene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Keith, did I forget to tell you that Gene could talk?
Yeah. You mentioned it. You mentioned it, but yeah, we're double S pod. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring back out for double S.
That's no worries. I'm glad to bring him back on.
I'd rather talk TPO any day of the week. The double S is just a little, brainchild we got rolling over there. So the qualifications, if I can get the kayaks into your neck of the woods, then we'll do it. We can go nationwide. We're 501c3 by the IRS. Really for me, it's logistics, right? It's having the right people. My span of control that I usually operate under is 2 to 3 people max. If I have a bigger family than that, where we want more than that for one trip, then I need to find some resources and I need some volunteers. 2 guys and myself, for each one volunteer out there is the ideal, because that allows us to stay in proximity. We can be your mobile tackle store, answering questions, trading jabs all day long. It keeps it fun that way, and it keeps it more with our purpose, which is to make sure that we're getting that established communication flying. So, but literally we have some team members in Missouri that help us. Missouri is it's my home away from home. We've got ability to go to Alabama. We've got the Romans Warrior Foundation down there that we operate. We manage the field ops division for the Romans Warrior Foundation, which is the same thing. That's what we do here. That's, like I said, that's our roots. So we can get out there. Minnesota, I got some good connections up there. So I have connections through the competitive world, allowed me a lot of connections throughout the entire U.S. So we pull those nowadays for that purpose, going, hey, man, we're coming in this time. Think you, be able to go out, give us a little guide on this, help us in this area, and volunteer with us? Most people are like, I'm in, dude. Let's go. So
that's awesome.
Colorado's obviously our home base. We start there. Fishing is so out here. But yeah, other than that, we'll go wherever. If somebody that's listening to this is anywhere in the country, if I can get the kayak trailer out there, dude, let's do it. We just need a little bit of planning, and I love road trips. Don't bother me.
It sounds like you're big on partnerships too. So, anybody listening, anybody listening that has, ties to organizations that want to partner, and I think it'd be fantastic. Getting us outside, getting the veterans outside and out of that isolationism, just huge.
Yeah. Mother Nature's pretty damn powerful, dude. And if we can throw away a few bags of opioids along the way, and stop a revolving door, for a little bit, and just, hey, let's find some, several of the guys that I take out here in the state, like they say, they're in a good place, right? They're doing fine. But like they tell me, dude, this is self-maintenance time. This is recharge time for me. They go back to their family stronger after a trip out. And that, it's like anybody could benefit from that. But I just am particular in the fact that I just work with active vet first responders and their families. But anybody can benefit from this. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, it's there's a lot of, just getting outdoors, dude. And let's go fish.
Nice.
I'm gonna take fishing out of the stressful realm for you, Shawn.
There you go.
The stressful part now will be getting my big ass in a kayak.
All right, Gene, we are at time, so we will have to bring you back on for the Double S podcast, but it was amazing having you on. So I got two more questions for you before we go. First of all,
Sure.
What is the biggest fish we've got? Like, who's the record holder? What is it for the organization? And then two, after answering that, tell us how folks can get in touch with you, how they can get in touch with the organization, how they can sign up for the services.
Perfect. So the biggest fish we've caught at an event, man, that's a great question. I don't know if I can answer it honestly. Probably 19-inch. Unfortunately, embarrassingly, it was me. Caught a 19-inch smallie. That's not how a guide service should work, right? You're supposed to have the people that come out, but like I say, you're not paying anything, so this is free, dude. What do you want?
Right.
No,
your money
really,
back guarantee.
That's right. I guarantee you ain't getting your money back. No, so I don't really know, and that's something we should probably start tracking. I've got an organization that will do they'll do these like memory cards, almost like baseball cards. They'll do them
nice.
laser engraved with your picture holding the fish from the event, and they said they'd be willing to help us with that. So yeah, we might have to get into that.
Nice.
But yeah, here in Colorado, it'd be rough going, here's your 10-inch trout you caught, you know, please remember this for the rest of the year. And how people can get a hold of us at True Patriot Outfitters, man. Anyone that's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We don't do Snapbook, InstaChat, you know, the other garbage. All right. We don't get into any of that mess. We're not on ticking and talking. I am happy to say that because of my wife's job and her security clearance is required, TikTok is not permitted on our phones. And I am so happy for that. Yeah. So no, at True Patriot Outfitters, any of the social media channels, you can hit us at truepatriotoutfitters.org. You can find us there. DM me online through any of those, through an email, you know, either way. All of our information is out there that we can be, you know, seen, cleaned, and vetted, you know, all day long. So transparency is a big deal for us. So try to, you know, keep that piece flowing.
Well, Gene, and again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for everything you're doing for the community. It's absolutely awesome. And yeah, I look forward to having you back on to talk about the other project. But yeah, for everybody listening, on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, would like to thank everyone for joining us today. VET S.O.S is growing and spreading its wings. You can follow us on all the social media platforms. Make sure to check out all 4 of our shows and to follow and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from. YouTube, Reach Across America, Heroes Media Group, family, all your favorite podcast platforms. We're out there. All the ones that Gene does not use, all those other social media platforms. And as always, folks, remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline.